And I'm still excited about this Rumble this year, man. People saying the greatest rap of all times. That should be debated. That should be debated. But I tell you this: of this era, the greatest Rumble of all time.
I would say of the modern era, yeah, it's got to be that one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the only recent Rumble like match, like when we talk about men's Royal Rumble, that even comes close, in my opinion, is that 2021 where Drew won here at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. It was a great match because of Brock being out there or whatever. But this one tops that, because what I was thinking about earlier, I think, and we did a simulcast with ESPN Radio, the national radio, and covered the Royal Rumble. Shout out to everybody who was involved with that: Jonathan Zaslow, Sam Roberts, Trick Willie. We're all in the building for that. But
as well as
the people were all involved. But when I thought about it, think about this: at the last 9 guys in there, it was LA Knight, it was Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, actually AJ Styles was in there, Jey Uso, excuse me, Roman, Punk, Rollins. Did I say Damian Priest already?
Yeah.
Logan Paul was in there. My point is, and John Cena. How can I forget John Cena? Those 10 guys. So a third of the Rumble was in there, and conceivably any one of those people could have won. And you would have been like, oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, I can go with that. Like I could, and that's just a testament to where the roster's at. That those 10 guys were in the Rumble, and you would have been okay with any of them winning.
Yeah, man. I tell you, man, what a Rumble, man. What a Rumble. I tell you, it made me miss actually being in there a little bit. And the thing is, I always say I scratched every itch. I swear. And I would never have imagined or dreamt it would be the Royal Rumble that would give me the itch to want to get back in there. I guess because it was so dynamic. This one was so dynamic. So many moving parts. Everybody played a hell of a role. Like you say, you didn't know who was going to win it. I tell you, like I say, O'Shea Jackson, he seemed like he was a little kid. They flashed him for a second. He seemed like he was a little kid when CM Punk came out, right? And I can only imagine his face and reaction when CM Punk went over the top rope, because it was totally unexpected. It was totally unexpected. So for me, man, damn good Saturday night. I must say that. Even though we were at home, we wasn't there, in Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. 70,000 people sold out. It still was a great night.
But it felt like we were there. You know what I mean?
It really did. It really felt like we were there, man. I couldn't even watch it. It was like at certain points, I'm just covering my eyes and looking down and holding my head. I haven't felt like that in a long time, man. I swear to God.
Well, let me ask you this, because the winner of the men's Royal Rumble is Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, who started at Reality of Wrestling all those years ago under your expert tutelage, him and his brother. And now he is going to find himself battling for the world championship at WrestleMania. As a mentor and a coach to him, and as a fan of Jey Uso himself, what were your thoughts immediately when he won the Royal Rumble?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking about the title or anything like that. I was just in the moment. I was just happy that he had won on that night. That was the biggest night of his career. And to have that moment, to be blessed with that moment, just one time in your career, you walk away and say, man, I won the Royal Rumble, back in 2025, such and such was in the ring. All these names you just named off, and I walked away on top. So I get it. I remember, being in a match, the King of Kings match with John Cena and the Big Show. And all of us was, champions. And it was a triple threat match. And I remember winning that match. I'm like, just a moment. You know what I mean? Those are moments that no one can ever take away from you. As well as it lets you know that something that we talk about all the time, the company trusts you. You've put in the work for the company to trust you, to be the guy, to rep the company. And that right there, I've talked about two things throughout my career. Also, the championship is one thing, but the title, that's something totally different. Right now, he's got the title, bro. of being the guy that they can trust. Championship will come later. You feel me? So for all you guys out there, I just schooled you. All right, I just gave y'all a lesson and what this thing is all about. So nah, man, I'm just so happy for the kid, and it's on with it up with. Like I say, I see so much of myself in this kid. You know what I mean? It reminds me of my story. Being in a tag team for years and then breaking out into singles and then, putting the work in and, least likely to be the guy. And then next thing you just blow up, So I don't, it feels surreal for me, as well as him being a reality of wrestling alumni. It just let me know that we did well with this kid, man. We did well with this kid. I remember an interview that his brother did not too long ago, and the one thing they say that they both learned from me was your losses got to be better than your wins,
Mm.
and that right there just let me know that I taught him well. I taught him right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's one of those things to where for Jey, you know, it's hard to break out of that tag team. Really, really is. Especially when and you know this, like this is why it's such a great comparison. You know this because when you're in a tag team that's successful and has a long run with multiple championship reigns, and it's your brother, there's an extra added layer in this one where they happen to be identical twins, right? Like there's a lot of difficulty in overcoming that. Not just to yourself, but to the office, to the other boys, but most importantly, to the crowd. That, hey, I'm more than a tag team guy. And Jey Uso has done that phenomenally over these last couple years, but really in this last year. I think going from the match he had with his brother at WrestleMania 40 to now, he really made sure to become one of, if now not the hottest act in the company. And
Yeah.
that is not by accident. That's by purposeful action. Purposeful action. And I'm ecstatic for him and where he's going to go from here.
Yeah, he's done something that's his in-ring work is great, but I think his connection with the fans, I think, is what's really put him over the top. When I used to come out, the fans used to raise the roof. It was undeniable. You had to, say, man, this kid's got something, and you see everybody doing this yeet thing. You gotta say, man, I mean, how many t-shirts can we sell here? You know what I'm saying? So, no, man, it's so much appeal in main event Jey Uso opposed to just Jey Uso. So much more appeal with this kid. He's done it. He's done it all his way, man. And I that's what I try to talk to my students about, as far as me being a guy that's old school, from from the past. But when I see something that worked for these young kids today, man, go with it. I get it. And with what Jey has done, he's tapped into what these young guys are doing today, which for me is I'm like, man, he's right on point. Then he go out and perform, in any era. He's not just flipping around and doing that. He's trying to get some emotion out of everything he's doing out there. So for me, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving everything that this kid, he's developed his own thing and he's created his own thing outside the tag team thing. And he's done it relatively quickly. It didn't take him, I don't know how many years it took me. But nah, man, he's done a hell of a job. We got to take a quick break though, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame, man. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.